All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. My name is Eric Polzin, going to be covering this Sunday slate for you guys. As always, I do think the Sunday slates are going to be slates in which you can gain an edge on because a lot of people are going to be focused on NFL DFS. So that could be a nice little edge for you guys on today's slate. Also, hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Just a reminder, if you guys enjoyed the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. That helps us be able to put out more content for you guys. If you want access to the tools that you see in this video, click the link in the description below. All right. Let's get into today's pick. As always, going to be starting out with the injury news. Okay, so we got it. Joel Embiid expected to sit. Jason Tatum expecting to sit. So we can already see that that'll probably mean that Jaylen Brown probably going to be a great play. Damian Lillard out. Okay, Paul George game time decision. Cade Cunningham out, still out. Okay. Tyrese Maxey still out. James Harden's still out. So that's going to mean Milton and Melton probably going to be good plays once again. Keon Johnson, he's out. Okay. And then from there, nothing too big. I mean, Jimmy Butler out. Chris Middleton is getting close to playing. If he does play, I think he'll have his minutes restricted. He's been playing on the G League for the Herd. And then from there, nothing too much. All right, so let's get into the top values for today. So as always, I do want to start off with the FanDuel side of it. Who are the top values on FanDuel? So Al Horford. Okay, Al Horford, not a terrible play. Projected to get 33 minutes. Decent game. You could play him. You know, Washington's not a bad matchup. FanDuel does make a lot more sense as a play. Cam Reddish. Okay, Cam Reddish for New York. Let's see why he's popping up there. So Reddish has been someone that has been getting a decent amount of run lately. Around 30 minutes in the game that he's played in. I could potentially see that. Hasn't played in a while, though. It's been Quentin Grimes who's been filling in for him, playing extremely well. So if Reddish is back, that would mean Grimes is going to be less appealing as a play. Maybe that's the best way to look at that. Yes, Jaylen Brown at 8.5 going to be a strong price point play on both FanDuel and DraftKings. You're going to be playing him across the board. DFS continues to be someone that pops up. You can certainly play him on this slate. Marcus Smart, a little bit priced up on FanDuel, still a player that is a value price point play. Most likely someone you're playing more on DraftKings, though, is a little bit cheaper there. Mitchell Robinson popping up there. Jalen Brunson, not a terrible play. Shake Milton, a strong play as well. He's been a stud with those players injured. Melton, I'm perfectly fine with as a play as well. Nothing too crazy, nothing too standout-ish. Let's look on DraftKings. Al Horford, Cam Reddish, kind of the same stuff. Like I said, Marcus Smart is going to be a much better play on DraftKings, and I think I'll just go ahead and put those two in there to start off the first build because I think that's going to be the route that you want to go. So small forward, let's put Brown in there. Then you could go Marcus Smart. The question is Malcolm Brogdon more in play? Only playing about 20 minutes or so. If he were to get a few more minutes, he'd be a strong price point play, especially against Washington. Or is it just going to be White, still playing that many minutes as well? He could be a very strong price point play as well. So some players that you could look at on this slate. And just looking at Malcolm Brown gets about the fourth most minutes with Jason Tatum off the court, gets about a 5% bump in usage. Jaylen Brown gets a 10% bump in usage with Jason Tatum off the court. So those are two players you can certainly look at. Grant Williams is also someone that does get the biggest bump in minutes with Jason Tatum off the court. Not a huge difference in usage. Price point is priced up enough as well to the point where he is not a lock and load play. I think we'd be looking at, these two for sure. Maybe Sam Hauser's an okay value. Not something you're going crazy with, but then we'd be looking at White or Brogdon there. Yeah, Milton Holiday's kind of cheap there on DraftKings. Wow, $800 price difference on DraftKings compared to FanDuel. That is very interesting. Whew, let's look at it. I don't really know why. Just the blowout last game? Is that why? 2 out of 3 games been blowouts? And, that's interesting. If the game stays close, I don't want to say he's locked in again 35 DK points, but probably, especially if Chris Middleton not fully back just yet. If he plays, good. If he doesn't, minutes restriction. Drew Holiday is a very interesting price point play. I think we're going to play him on DraftKings as well. And then we'll have to look at the other guards that we like. So some decent plays there. Let's look. Is there any on Yahoo? Harrell, I guess, minimum price. Grant Williams, minimum price. Yeah, that does make it a little bit easier. All right, let's look at the games that we want to be on, and then we'll begin into the ownership preview, and then I'll begin out of here shortly. All right, so are there any games that we really need to be going out of our way to play? Potentially the Golden State Minnesota game, although that's the early game, so never mind. For the late slate, possibly Memphis, New York, I could see that. Not that hard to stack as well. Washington, Boston, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Nothing too crazy there. No games that you need to go out of your way to stack. So let's get into the ownership side of it. So starting with DraftKings, here are the highest projected on players on the slate. Okay, a lot of people are seeing what we were seeing. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, those are the players you want to be on. Malcolm Brogdon is the player that people think is going to get the biggest bump. It makes sense. Usage rate goes up. DK production per 36 goes up a little bit as well. So yeah, that makes sense. Tobias Harris, a little bit too cheap as well for a guy that could easily get to 40 DK points, kind of locking in 35. Honestly, all these players that are high owned make the most sense. It just does. So I could easily see it, honestly, putting out a chalky lineup and then maybe doing some one-off decisions at the end there, because it is a kind of smaller slate, more concentrated slate. You can get some unique plays, I guess, at the end of your build. Don't worry about being too chalky on top and then make it unique at the bottom. Let's look at the main slate for FanDuel, and then I'll be showing you guys the lineup process, and then I'll be getting out of it. So on FanDuel, more the same, although we are seeing with that price discount to Al Horford, people are being on him a lot more. A lot of these just make sense. I don't know, Cam Reddish. I might have to be talked into that one. Jalen Brunson, fine with. Caleb Martin, maybe. We're not seeing Milton being as high owned. Drew Holiday, pretty much non-existent because he is a lot higher priced on FanDuel. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, honestly, on FanDuel, you probably are just going these 4 to start and then figuring out where to go from there. So let's get into the first look build for DraftKings, and then I'll begin out of it. So guard-wise, my biggest issue on this slate is that a lot of them are priced up enough, and you could get similar production out of some lower priced players. Like, wouldn't be shocking to see Melton go for 40 DK points. And he's been a solid producer as well. Like, I think we're locking in 30 DK points with the upside to go for 40, 45. So it's going to be tough not to play him. Just give him that safety. Jalen Brunson is currently questionable. If he were to sit, obviously you're just playing quickly. Would be a very strong price point play. He has been someone that has been going off, though. I mean, he has been too cheap for a while now, just given the shot attempts that he has been shooting. He's finally been making them. Been getting the same amount of assists or so. In this game against Memphis, it is a game in which you can attack. It is a play in which you can use. Once again, kind of the same thing to Melton. Should be a safe play. Also presents some upside for you as well. Yeah, Milton I don't know. I just feel like you have to play him at this point. Too cheap. Should be a strong and safe play. It's going to be tough to avoid him on this side. Okay. And then, yeah, I think we're just choosing between White or Brogdon. And I do think we are going to be playing a guard in our flex spot. Once again, if Brunson's out, then you're playing quickly. It's just as simple as that. Quentin Grimes would be a decent play if Cam Reddish is out. If Cam Reddish is in, obviously he's the one you're looking at the most. For now, I'm going to put Brogdon in the flex, just a strong price point there. Looking at forward, if you can pay up for Giannis, I don't hate the idea of paying up for him. Been a stud the last 3 games. This game against Dallas should be a closer one, although it's not that high scoring. That's the worry. The likelihood of him really going off is not as high. Julius Randle, 2 straight games of over 40 DK points. We know with him, it's just a matter of if the minutes are there. If he's gaining around 35 minutes, going to hit 40 DK points. If he's below 30 minutes or just at 30 minutes, it's a little bit tougher to do that. Not a terrible play. Banchero came in and had kind of a rough first night back from injury, played 36 minutes, just wasn't that involved in the offense. Not terrible shooting, 5 for 12. That's not terrible. The assists were down, the rebounds were down. Okay. You would expect that to be much better in tonight's game, especially against Philly. That's without Joel Embiid. It could be a very strong bounce back spot. You are paying a little bit of a premium for him, though, trying to get lucky. That's more of a GPP play. The upside could be there for him, especially with how banged up Orlando has been. It wouldn't be shocking to see him have a good game. Tobias Harris, though, it's kind of the default play. Been a little bit hit or miss, I guess, if you will, but the shot attempts continue to be there. That's what we like to see. 3 straight games of over 20 shot attempts. The rebounds will be there. If the assists are there, he should be a good play. As long as he's making those shots, going to be a good play. Against Orlando last game, did go for 46 DK points. Probably going to be closer to 38 in this one, I guess, but still not a terrible play. Like you would expect him to have a good game. For now, I've kind of just been ending up on him and then figuring it out from there. Denny, I think we're just playing at the small forward spot as well. Just a little bit too cheap for his recent production. That's just something, that's a wave that I'll continue to ride. Looking like a decent start to the build. We can put Harris in there, like I said. I'm fine with that at the forward spot. And then center-wise, this is kind of my biggest issue, is that there's no one that I feel like we need to go out of our way to play, and that's kind of why I'm fine with just paying down at the center position and just going with whichever play is there for us. Paul Reed fouled out last game. Okay, I think he would have got about 25 minutes, and I think he would have been able to get to around 25 DK points. You don't expect him to follow up 2 straight games, so he could be a decent price point play. Obviously, Montrezl Harrell was forced into more minutes. I don't think they want to get him that many minutes. I think they want to max him out at about 20. Okay, he could be a play that you go ahead and play, hoping for 25 DK points, but I think Paul Reed is the one that gives us the most upside. So he'd be the player that I want to play the most of. But for now, for this build, it's a solid first look build. Obviously, this will change as the night goes on, as value opens up. But for now, it is a build that I will I'll be okay with. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. That helps us be able to put out more content for you guys. All right. If you want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, remember, make sure to click the link in the description below. Also, we have a link in the description below that gives you access to the Discord chat that goes live before lock, about 30 minutes. Get all your questions answered in there as well. All right. Thanks for watching and good luck.